Sir is with us. So I would just like to give you a short introduction about one of the eminent personality with us today. Dr. K.K. Mishra, sir, is presently working as Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Moti Lal Nehru, National Institute of Technology, Allahabad, Prayagraj. He has successfully organized around 6 IEEE conferences in India, that is in ICCC series, as a conference secretary and worked as a program chair for many other conferences. He has worked as PC members for many conferences in India and abroad and has successfully organized some special issues in highly indexed journals. He is a regular reviewer of journals of supercomputing, that is of the Springer, applied intelligence, applied soft computing, IEEE transactions on cybernetics, IEEE system journal, neural computing and applications, and IETE journals. In addition to it, Sir has reviewed many publications for SCI and Scoopers Index journals. So I warmly welcome Sir, and we will be very benefiting from his talk. And Sir is delivering his talk on machine learning through data mining. So I warmly welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you, madam. I'm sharing the slide and then I will start my topic. And the topic is application of machine learning in data science. So I'm trying to share the slide and hopefully I could share it. Please let me know.
Yes, sir.
So I have already shared the screen. So is it visible? The screen is visible or not?
No, sir. The screen. Yeah, now this time it is visible.
Okay. Okay, just wait a minute. What happened to that one? Okay, so I'm just making it to. So just give me a few minutes. I just want to make it fully screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think I need to press F5, but it is not working anyway.
The symbol here is at the last, sir, in the task
This
bar.
one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think it is good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. So this topic, this FDP is related to the data science, and because data science is something which is related to data, so I will talk about application of machine learning in data science. So I will tell you like what is the relationship between machine learning and data science. So what is data science? Actually, there might be several definition of data science, but according to me, as a computer engineer, we have to analyze the data, right? Because we want to extract some useful information from the data. For example, so why we want to extract useful information from the data? Because that information might be beneficial for us for any purpose. For example, if let us suppose if we are sitting in our home and if we listen that a huge noise is appearing outside your house, so it means we are receiving some data from outside, huge noise. So that was not there earlier. Now you are receiving noise. So you are receiving data. Earlier it was not present, now it is present. So that might indicate some useful information because some huge noise is appearing outside your house. So that might be due to some problem in your house. So let us suppose if there is a fire in your house, so that's why people are crying. So analyzing data is always useful because you need to take decisions. So you need to check data. So data may be analog, data may be digital, data may be numerical. Okay. So we always deals with data values, and we want to identify like how data is changing, whether we can get some important information from that change in the data. So we want to identify the pattern in the data, and we want to relate those patterns with our decisions. So for example, normally we don't receive noise from outside, right? So when you receive noise from outside, it means some important people want to give you some important information. That is also a part of data, right? So data science is something means which is related to analyzing of data for making some decision, right? So what is data science? It is extracting useful information from the data is known as data science. So sometimes information extraction is very easy, right? For example, you are sitting in a house and you receive noise from outside. So in that case, you are using your sensor, like you are using your ears and brain to collect data, and then you can check, okay, what is happening. So on the basis of that information, you can decide something. Sometimes the patterns may not be that easy, right? Sometimes you may have a lot of data where you will be unable to identify any kind of pattern, right? So why we are looking for pattern? Because we want to associate our decision with the pattern. So actually there are two things which are related to data extraction. One is called as data mining. Data mining is what we are receiving some data, we are analyzing the pattern, and we are analyzing the pattern because we want to decide something. So if our extraction or if our analysis is helping in our decision, then it is called as like that is something which is called as data mining. For example, how data mining is useful. So like in business, it is very useful. For example, if you want in the breakfast, people actually go to the shop and they ask for uh, some milk packets. Okay. So usually the shopkeeper also put some bread over there because they know the relationship between milk and bread, because people want to prefer bread with the milk. So that is a kind of association which everybody knows, right? So that is something. So that decision was taken by the shopkeeper without using any kind of model, right? So this is about the basic knowledge. So data mining is what? Understanding the behavior of the people, understanding like relativity of data is known as data mining. So data mining may be useful when you are running some business, when you want to relate two data items with just to gain some profit in the business. So those things are related and are called as data mining techniques. But data mining is not always easy, because whatever data you may be collecting, so that data may have some kind of noises. So you have to apply some tool for cleaning the data. Hopefully you have already taken several sessions where these techniques may have been discussed. So data cleaning is what? Okay, let us suppose if for example you can assume that we use computer network for sending information from one place to another place, right? So it might happen that if the proper connectivity is not there between two systems, so whatever I am sending, that information may be corrupted, right? So in that case, I need to have, so if I am collecting that kind of data, what will happen? I may not be analyze that data item properly. So what I have to do, if I am having some noisy data, I have to remove noise from that. So that is the part of data cleaning. So there are several things which we have to do before making our data suitable for analysis. So that comes under data mining. Mining means data cleaning. If data is not present, then you have to use some methods to predict the data values. That if missing information is there, you have to apply some method and you have to provide the correct information over there. So when your data is complete, then only you can do some kind of analysis. So that is a part of data mining. So data mining is something with where the data is available to you. Okay. And you will apply some methods. You will try to analyze the pattern. And why you are analyzing the pattern? Just because you want to take some good decision in favor of your business or in favor of you. So that is a part of data mining. Let us understand one more thing, right? So that is the part of data mining. But now, when we are performing data mining, who is taking the decision? So decision is taken by the human being, right? So what is happening actually, if you have some data, so you like the programmer will be analyzing everything. The programmer will be analyzing all the patterns and everything, and then programmer will decide what to do in a particular case, right? So nowadays people are looking for intelligent machines which can do the similar kind of work which can be done by the human being. So that is one more step ahead, which is after data mining. So after data mining, data mining, we also associate data mining with the machine learning. So data mining is what you have data, you analyze it, you find out some important patterns in the data, and you associate those patterns with the decision. But who is taking the decision? The human being. But when you associate all these things with a machine, then it becomes machine learning. So what we do with the help of machine learning, we are replacing the need of human being, right? So here, in addition to analyzing the data, you have to understand how data will be behaving in the future. So you have to, machine learning is really very important because you need to understand, you in addition to the pattern, you need to understand how data will be behaving in the future, and then accordingly you what decision your machines should take. So because there is like the programmer will not be present over there, so your machine should be able to take the right decision. So that's why machine learning is very helpful uh, in this real world situation. So machine learning plus data science, actually both are creating miracle these days. So we will be talking about machine learning, like how can we make our machine intelligent, how data mining or data science will be useful in creating those kind of machine. Okay, what can be like what algorithms we can use in machine learning. Okay, what other things are there in machine learning which may help in implementing data science techniques. So we will talk about those things later in this presentation. So we have already talked about that data science is required because we want to take some important decision. You want to take profitable decision, and machine learning is required because you want to replace the need of human being. So when you combine both of these things, like machine learning and data science, it will create auto learning machine. Auto learning machine means you have some machine. Okay, so you will apply some method, data science method, and what else you have to add with the data science method, we will be talking about those things which create actually auto learning machine, right? And where, yes, any problem? Hello. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello. I'm sorry. Am I not receiving any information from other side?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. You were.
Okay, madam. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we are talking about two things like how machine learning and data science are related. Okay. So when you incorporate machine learning techniques with the help of with some data science techniques, you can create auto learning machines. So where we can use these techniques?
Although
So
the
in
participants are also responding on chat, sir.
actually, if they, um, I'm
Yeah,
just
might be you are not able to because you are
yeah.
done full screen. Yeah, it can be possible, sir. But
Yeah, so if they want to ask any question, so I'm have to see actually.
yeah, they can unmute, sir. They have having the facility.
Yeah, yeah. So if they want to ask any question, they can unmute and they can ask any question.
Yes, sir.
I will be happy to answer the question. Hello, I think somebody was asking the question.
Uh,
Hel-
any any participant who want to ask anything, any query?
Anyway, I'm assuming is whenever you have any question, you can ask, right?
Yes, sir.
So okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are talking about like how can we connect machine learning and data science. I'm again repeating the same thing. Okay. So in many problems, only decision making is not sufficient, right? So we also want to understand how data can be modeled, right? Machine learning is what? Machine learning is what? Because you want to replace the need of human being. Okay. So in so you have to apply some you have to write some program which can train your machine like what to do in that particular situation, right? So you can train your machine only if you provide a kind of modeling, you, a kind of correct model, okay, which can represent your data. So what we do with the help of machine learning, we try to model our data, okay. So that model will be helpful in understanding the pattern of the data, and it will also teach machine the future pattern of the data, like how the data will behave in future, right? So machine learning is what? Machine learning means actually what you are doing, you are training, you are writing a program, okay, which actually train your machine like how your data is behaving. So these models will be useful in training machines and deciding future course of actions. So once you create a model for uh, learning any data pattern by the machine, okay, so that model can be used to predict new values and to take decision accordingly. So what is machine learning? There might be several definitions, but this one may be easy: making machines to do those things which a person can do easily, right? So actually we can categorize problems into two categories. One, the problems which are computational related problems. So computational related problems means where we do some arithmetic calculations like plus, minus, division, multiplication, and we need to apply Boolean operator and other operator. So whenever we have computational related problems, okay, and we want to check like who is fast, like whether human can process that information easily or computer can process that information easily. When we want to compare those things, so if it is a computational problem, definitely a computer will process it easily, because computer was created as a replacement of calculator. It was never created for replacing human being, right? So we have created computer because we want to create a device which can help us in solving computation related problem. We never created computer because we want to replace human being. Now we are expecting that we should create a computer which can replace the human being. Earlier it was not the goal, right? So our computer is capable to solve computational problem in very less time as compared to human being. But there are other kind of problems where your computer is not efficient, right? So those problems are like face recognition problem. Those problems are called as artificial intelligence related problems. So what is intelligence actually? What is intelligence and from where it comes actually, right? So intelligence is what actually there is one point which is missing in our computer. Our computer actually does those things which are programmed by us actually. So we are the programmer, so we are creating everything, we are creating a model, so that is called as algorithm. And we ask our computer to execute the algorithm only, right? So we are teaching our computer that you have to do only these steps. So your computer is working like a slave. And who is the actually who is giving command? You are giving command. But now what you want from your computer nowadays, you want that your computer should be able to give proper command, right? So how that can be done? So for that, your computer should be automatically understand how the problem can be solved, or how, like, which model will be suitable for solving that kind of problem. So you need to provide some kind of model to your computer, so that model will be helpful to the computer to understand, like, what will be the future data, what will be the future values, and how the computer should behave in that particular situation. I will tell you some with one example problem that will give you the idea like how can we train the machine. So what is intelligence? How can we implement the intelligence in machine? So a machine requires a lot of knowledge in the form of data that is related to the environment. Actually, when we want to write some program which behaves intelligently, actually we collect data about the environment where your machine is situated, and the action of the problems. Okay, let us see one example and see like what I want to say actually. Okay, this is the example. So let we want to design a or AC means air conditioner. Hello, hello. I think someone's mic is not mute. Hello. Okay. So let us take one example. So the example is related to air conditioner. Let me want to design a AC, a program which can uh, automate the process of air air conditioner. So let me want to design a AC which can automatically adjust temperature according to the external environment, right? So what we are doing actually, we are training our machine, and what we want from our machine, we want our we want in this situation we want our machine to adjust temperature according to the external environment. So environment is what? Environment, it means because your AC is there in current environment, so AC could be able to sense like what is the current temperature, outside temperature. So if it is hot outside, AC will automatically reduce the temperature. If it is cold outside, then it will automatically increase the temperature. So it means for creating such kind of programs, you can see there are several conditions. So some decision has to be taken on the basis of some condition. So if it is hot outside, so how will you identify whether the temp whether it is hot outside or not? So that you have to identify on the basis of some data, right? So from where this data will come? So this data will be collected by the sensor, right? So when you collect external temperature, external temperature, which is actually data, you can identify whether it is hot outside or not. So on the basis of that data, you can you can attach some decision ability. So here AC will automatically reduce the temperature. So here you will put one program which can automatically decrease the temperature of your AC, so that you can feel good if you are in the room, right? Similarly, if the condition is cold, if it is cold outside, so how will you identify whether it is cold or not? So you have to check the temperature, and temperature is what? Temperature is data. So here you can see, here we are receiving two kind of information. One which is called as controlling data, which is controlling your actions, right? And second one is your data which is required to program your things. So here you can see one is data which is related to the environment. So that is controlling the decision ability of your automatic machine. So you are collecting two data. One is environmental data, and second one is the data which is there in the data means temperature of your AC. So depending on the control value, like what is the condition of outside, you can reduce the temperature. So this is what we do when we create auto learning machines. So auto learning machines can be created only if you have two kinds of data. One we collect information from the outside, and then we behave accordingly, right? So it is acting like a human being. So we can say that we have created an intelligent machine. So why it is called as intelligent? Because here we are collecting one control information which is controlling our program. So this is really very important. So data mining is important, but how you are collecting data is also very important. And if you are mining data, your objective must be clear, what you want to do. So for example, if you are sitting in your home and you are receiving noise, so you must be knowing what is happening outside, right? Something wrong is going on, so that you can identify. So what we want to implement with the help of machine learning and data mining. So here two things are there. Data mining is required because you want to train. Okay, look, in previous example, we were collecting two kinds of data. One was external data, outside data, which was controlling inside data, right? So in addition to controlling this inside data, you can also mine it. So you can create intelligent machines with auto learning power if you apply data mining techniques over here in the decision making steps. So what we want to implement with the help of machine learning and data mining. So we want to implement these things, automatic decision capability in machine. So this we are implementing with the help of machine learning technique. So if we are implementing any machine learning program, it means we are giving some power to our machine, like decision ability, like we are supplying some control variable on the basis of which our machine can decide what to do, right? One more thing, why we have invented computer, okay, and why we want to improve the performance of our computer and everything, okay, because we want to reduce our response time, okay. Response time is a very important factor. So we are always interested in writing those programs which not only have automatic decision capability, but also if we have several programs which can take decision in less time, which have automatic decision capability, how will we identify that which program is the best one? So definitely the response time. So we want to design the best machine, right? We want to design the best system which not only have automatic decision capability, but also produce the desired response in minimum time. So this is what we want to help with the help of machine learning and data mining. So we will figure out like what kind of techniques we have to implement when we want to create auto learning machines. So how can we do that if we want to create a machine which can use these two things? What we have to do actually? So we have to writing programs which can automate the system, right? And second is writing optimized programs. So if we want to create a machine which can take automatic decision and that too in less time, so if we want to create such that kind of machine, then we have to write these two things. We have to install, or we have to incorporate two programs in that one. One is we have to write some program which can automate the system, and second one is our programs should be optimized. It should have optimum response time. Both things are important, right? Because if you know, if your program response time is very high, nobody will wait for a long, right? So both things are necessary. What comes under machine learning and data mining framework? So we can create auto learning machines, but what are the main components which comes under machine learning and data mining framework? So the first thing is we are talking about optimization, right? Optimization is everywhere. Whenever you want to maximize or minimize certain thing, then you have to apply some kind of optimization technique. So whenever you are creating some intelligent machine and you are mining the data, optimization may also be required. So you need to learn optimization algorithm, like whatever problem you want to solve. Okay, if it is related to AI means artificial intelligence. If it is related to if it is artificial intelligence problem, then you have to apply these techniques. These techniques might help you in producing the solution of the problem. So optimization, like in most of the problems, we want to optimize certain things. So you can apply optimization techniques. Optimization techniques, actually, they are used for minimizing or maximizing certain things. So what kind of algorithms can be used? So during optimization, you can use some randomized algorithm. So those algorithms are called as nature-inspired algorithms, like genetic algorithm, particle swarm optimization, D, and other optimization algorithms can be used. So you need to figure out, before solving any problem, you need to figure out what tools we have to use to solve that problem. So if it requires optimization, then you can use these optimization techniques. So optimization techniques, if you want to do some kind of research in data science, and especially if you are related to, if that research is related to optimization, then you can learn these techniques and you can go for single objective and multi-objective optimization techniques. So these techniques may be single objective optimization technique, or it may be multi-objective optimization techniques. So people are working in these areas, right? So this is about optimization. Other thing which may be related to your problem is problem solving may involve classification of inputting. Okay. So this, in general, if it is a artificial intelligence related problem or machine learning problem, then actually the problem may belongs to
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
classification. Yeah, madam.
Sir, can you please
Hello.
throw some? Yes, sir. Sir, can you please throw some light on the PSO and DE, sir? Optimization algorithms.
Yeah, madam, I can tell you. No, no problem. Okay. So actually, optimization algorithms are very useful when you want to maximize or minimize certain things, right? So let us take one example. Uh, okay. So these are the standard techniques like genetic algorithm, right? Okay. I just want to ask one question. First thing, let us suppose if I am teaching in one class, okay, this is the class, right? And let us suppose if around 64 students are there, right? It's a very general question.
Yes, sir.
And if I am teaching the class, right? If somebody if somebody comes to me and he says, you have to identify who is the topper of the class,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how will you identify? So I will ask each and everybody to share his or her CPI, right?
Yes, sir.
I will ask, let us suppose if 64 students are there, and if in the class, if somebody is saying, okay, you have to identify who is the topper of the class. Okay. So there might be several methods, right? So I may use this method. In this case, I may use this method that I will start from the first student. I will say, what is your CPI? So he will tell me, let us suppose if he tell me his CPI is 7.5, right? So then what I will do, I will ask to the next person if his CPI is greater, then I will skip the previous one, right? So that kind of method I can apply until I get the best CPI, right?
Yes, sir.
Am I right? So how many comparison I may require in this case? So
Mm.
in total 64 students are there. So I need to compare all 64 students, right? The
Yeah,
CPI of,
linearly. Yeah, linear
yeah,
comparison, sir.
yes. So I need to compare all 64 students to just to verify like who is the topper of the class, right?
Yes, sir.
Now my question is, can I produce the same answer in less time?
Mm-hmm. In that case,
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
clustering or something need to be done. Classification need to be done.
So that,
Uh,
that is that is the basic idea about optimization algorithm. Optimization problems are actually really very complex. So you can't apply these techniques. You can't evaluate each and every solution of the problem, right? So what you have to do, you have to apply some heuristic method. You have to design some heuristic method which can give you near to optimal answer in very less time, right? So what I will do actually here, I am the instructor, right? So I will formulate a query and I will ask students to share their CPI only if their CPI is greater than 8,
mm. Okay,
right?
sir.
So what will happen actually? I have created one query over here. Share your CPI or raise your hand if your CPI is greater than 8.
Already
Okay,
filtered. Hmm.
already filtered. So what will happen actually? In place of 64 comparisons, it may be possible that only comparing 4 students, I can get the same result,
Yes, sir.
right?
Hmm.
So that is what is there in optimization algorithm like GAPSO. GAPSO are randomized algorithm. Randomized means what? Here we are not checking each and everything, right? We are creating some program, okay, which is randomly evaluating some solutions and giving you the best answer in minimum time. So that is the idea behind genetic algorithm and PSO. I will tell you about the theory, but the basic idea is that one. Is it okay? Hello. 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 Oh my God. Am I audible? I don't know whether I'm connected or not.
Yes, sir, audible.
So that was the basic idea behind this optimization algorithm. So what we do actually, so first algorithm is called as genetic algorithm. It was proposed by the John Holland. He was a very good scientist. So what we do in GA is a randomized algorithm, right? Randomized algorithm means we will not evaluate each and every solution, right? In place of evaluating each and every solution, we choose some random solutions and evaluate those things. So GA program was created by mapping the theory of natural selection and evolution. So theory of natural selection and evolution is what? Actually, we are creating a program where we have to implement the theory of natural selection and evolution. So why we have implemented this natural selection and evolution? Because it is a theory which is related to optimization. I will show you. Theory of natural selection and evolution says if you have some set of species at time t, okay, then they will create new set of species at time t plus 1. If you have some set of species at time t, then they will perform selection. There will be some kind of selection, then they will cross each other, and some mutation will be there. So three things will be there: selection, crossover, and mutation. And after selection, crossover, and mutation, they will be creating new offsprings, new set of species. The important idea which was there in GA was that this theory says that the fitness of offspring will be greater than its parent. So that was very important idea. This gives you, like, if you have some set of species, then they will go through selection, crossover, and mutation, and they will generate some set of new species. What was most important in this finding? The fitness of new set of species will be greater than the parent population. So fitness is what? Fitness means how fit the new solution is in comparison of previous one. So let us suppose if F1 is the fitness of this solution, which is X1 dash, okay, and this is, if the parent is X1, then the value of X1 dash will be greater than F1 X1. So what is happening actually, without doing anything, we will be able to generate those solutions which will have more fitness as compared to previous one. So this idea was used because of this statement. So when you apply, if you could write a program which maps the same theory, then when you apply this thing recursively, definitely after few number of generation, you will be able to produce minimum or not minimum, maximum value.
Okay, sir, can
Yeah.
uh, like any exact search where
Uh,
the
you,
algorithms can.
you just a minute, ma'am. I will show you like what I. Okay, let me tell you one theory. There are several examples where you can apply this one. Just let me erase this thing. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
So, for example, look what I want to say actually, right? for example, if this is your function, this is fx, right? And this is function x upon 1 plus x square. First, try to understand what I am saying, right? And the value of x is in between 1 to 4, right?
Yes, sir.
And let us suppose we want to maximize this value. We want to identify the value of x. Okay, let us suppose this
Hmm.
is which maximize the value of this function, right? So if you want to solve this problem, how will you tackle this problem? So how will you tackle this problem? Actually, you can see this is called a search space. Your input value x, actually it lies between 1 to 4, right? So 1 to 4 means if you want to identify actual value which is producing minimum maximum value of this one, then you have to check each and every value between 1 to 4. Is it possible?
Yes, sir, because this time
Madam,
2,
madam, your voice is not clear. This is not possible. The
only
reason is
2.
your voice is not clear,
Yes,
madam.
sir.
But I'm saying it is a
Okay,
continuous search
okay. So
space.
my
1 to 4. This value actually for the identification of best value, we have to supply each and every value between 1 to 4, but we don't know how many values may be there. There might be infinite number of values which we have to check, right?
Hmm.
Like 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, right? So if we are actually taking very short interval, then infinite number of values may be there. So this shows that this problem becomes complex when you want to improve the fitness of, like, when you want to capture the best solution, right?
But sir, but the search spaces is between 1 to 4 only, na? So
Uh-huh.
like this time we have the initial and the final value in between 1 to
Mm-hmm.
4 only. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
set the value of x in between 1 to 4. So this will not be a
Mm-hmm.
very extensive task in this example.
No, what I'm saying, I don't look at this function, right? If, let
Okay.
us suppose,
Hmm.
if this function is not simple, if it is very complex, so you don't know, like, where will be your optimal solution, then what you have to do,
Hmm.
you have to check each and every solution in that case, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
In that case,
Yes, sir.
I have given just simple example because
Hmm.
you
If the
can,
function is very complex, then
yeah,
we can say yes, sir.
then we have to check each and every solution. So how many solution you will be checking in that particular case? Infinite number of
Hmm.
solutions may be there. And
Hmm.
just because you need to identify one good solution, you are checking each and every solution, so that will not be
Hmm.
fruitful.
Hmm.
So it will take a huge time, right? So
Yes,
in
sir. Yes,
that
sir.
case, we can apply genetic algorithm. So genetic algorithm, what did we does in genetic algorithm, we start with some random solutions, right? So
Hmm.
random solutions are what we took some values in between 1 to 4, randomly generate some values, right? For example, zero point 0.6 and 1.3,
Hmm.
like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we start with some values. So these values will create your parent population.
Okay.
Then we apply some selection, crossover, and mutation, right? So
Hmm.
these values will be automatically converted into new values.
Hmm.
So zero
Hmm.
point
Hmm.
0.6 will be converted into, let us suppose, 3.1. So what is happening over here, when you apply GAPSO and other algorithm, it will automatically give you another solution,
Hmm.
probable solution, which may be better, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So in place of checking each and every solution, what you have to do, you have to simply apply the algorithm and you have to check the office string only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Got it.
those methods are actually already set methods which may give you the best probable answer for your problem.
Got it, sir.
So you have to, how many comparison, actually you, in minimum number of comparison, you will try to, you will get your best solution. So that's why we are using optimization algorithm.
Hmm. Got it, sir.
So that was the idea behind GA. Similarly, we use another phenomena when we want to apply the particle swarm optimization. What is happening? This is okay. They are writing the text. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So other one is, so how to remove this one?
Might be some options.
Anyway, it is not creating problem. So I think,
Although this is giving clarity, sir, whoever is not able to having some audible issues, they can always see on the screen.
yeah, that is good. I think that is
Automatically it has on, sir.
so that is a
So
kind
that,
of data mining.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, yeah, automatically happened.
Yeah. So when you are working, when you want to apply a optimization technique, then you can use the genetic algorithm PSOD and the other optimization algorithm. I can tell you about PSO also. The PSO algorithm was actually related to, where is this? Okay. Uh,
So this is actually, sir, related with this ant colony optimization, something, this particle
Madam,
swarm
actually,
intelligence.
yeah, and that is PSO is related to swarm intelligence algorithm. So swarm intelligence is what, let us suppose I will give you one idea about some idea about this swarm intelligence algorithm, and then I will skip this one. So GA is something which is related to, actually this was related to the phenomena of natural selection and evolution, right? So then
Mm.
natural selection and evolution is related to genetics. Genetics
Yes,
means
sir.
that theory comes under like your own intelligence. That is something which is related to own intelligence. So that's why it is called as genetic algorithm. Because your father was intelligent, so you are intelligent. So that is this is something which is called as genetic theory. PSO is this is called as particle swarm optimization algorithm. So it is swarm intelligence based algorithm. So what is swarm intelligence? Swarm intelligence means, swarm means like insect, small insects, including birds, ant, bees.
Mm.
So these are the small insects. So people think that they are intelligent. I don't know actually, and I will not comment on those things.
So
So
might be, sir, like some principle based on the pherome which they left over
yeah,
while the
yeah,
ants have been
yeah, yeah,
traveling.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know what is intelligence over there, but the person who has created that program is definitely intelligent. I don't know
Yes.
whether ant is intelligent or not, but I know whosoever is created that program is definitely intelligent. So PSO is something which is related to that program is related to the process of words flocking. So what is words
Mm.
flocking means, if you see in the sky, you will find that several words are moving in a direction, and that too in a group. When you see in the sky, you will find that several birds are moving in the sky. They're moving in search of food, right? So that process is called as birds flocking. So they move in a group, right? They move
So,
in a group so that they can capture this food source as early as possible. So
mm.
method is that method was implemented in particle swarm optimization algorithm. So in particle swarm optimization, so let us suppose I can give you some example so you can understand like what is happening. Okay. So let us suppose if I am in class and I've this again, this example is related to class, right? So everybody is there in the class. They all are sitting over here, right? So these are like words, right?
Yes, sir.
So if let us suppose if someone comes to the class and say, okay, there is a fire in the another room.
Mm.
So what will happen? So each and every person. So who is giving this information to these students? So this is called as leader, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So somebody somebody will join this class, and if, let us suppose if he's saying, okay, there is a fire in another class, so he is called as leader. As similarly, because your why words are moving in a group, and who is leading those group, that group. So that group is leaded by one bird which is having more information about the event, right?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
More information about the food source. So similarly, one person one person comes over here and says, okay, there is a fire, so everybody will try to get more information about the fire, right? So they will try to move, they will try to choose their own way, right?
Hmm.
It is not necessary that they will follow the same way which actually the leader is instructing. They might follow some other way also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it might possible that after some time the other person will have more information in comparison to this one, right? So in PSO, in swarm, actually swarms are like they are having some information. So the swarm which is having the most information about the source will lead the group, right? So the other,
So ultimately, one leader needs to start the problem.
yeah, and then everybody will try to learn about the problem, right? And the everybody will try to learn the problem in its own way, right? Using his
Hmm.
own intelligence, he will try to learn the information. So it might happen that after some time the leader will be replaced by the another person, another word of the same group. So this process
Okay.
actually this process changes time by time, and then the best
Hmm.
actually this process actually they try to change their positions, and they will this phenomena actually will capture the information in minimum number of time. So that was implemented in particle swarm optimization algorithm. So in particle
Got
swarm
it.
optimization algorithm, they have used two things. One is velocity, and the second one is position of the particle. Okay. So each particle was uh, updated its position according to the information received from the best particle, right? And its own best position, which he or she has ever attended in during the search. So you will find this actually that was the phenomena. So they use that phenomena. PSO is really very simple, so you can simply apply it. It's a very simple algorithm. So
Hmm.
you will find many application of PSO. It in fact it is very simple as compared to genetic algorithm.
Hmm. Got it,
So
sir.
uh, again, so optimization is what? So if your problems involves optimization, then you can apply these techniques like genetic algorithm, PSOD, and other optimization algorithm. People are still producing new optimization algorithms. So some, if you are interested only in single objective, then the problem is called as single objective optimization algorithm. If you want
Hmm.
to use multiple objective, then the problem is called as multi-objective optimization problem. So there is some difference between single objective optimization and multi-objective optimization, but this area is really good. People are now from many domain they are pursuing research in optimization. Anyway,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
yeah, madam. So thank you very much. Second one is so after optimization, so optimization is always required. So when you want to create machine learning models, so machine learning means what you want to do actually. So mostly we apply two kinds of problem. One is called as classification problem, or second one is called as clustering problem. So in general, most of the most of the artificial intelligence related problems are either classification problem or clustering problem. So classification problem is for example, okay. I will show you one example that, okay, look, if I'm writing over here some data, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. These are the numbers, right?
Mhm.
Can you classify these numbers into two classes? So how will you classify? What are the idea behind classification? So definitely if numbers are there, you can define many classes, like even number, odd number, right?
Mhm.
Prime number,
According to some criteria,
yeah,
yeah.
prime number, non-prime number. So it is up to my thinking, like in what kind of information I may be interested. If I am interested in retrieving prime number, so definitely I will do classification. I will take one instance and I will try to identify whether it is a prime number or non-prime number, right? So these problems are called as classification problem, right? So
Yes.
classification problem are actually those problems where people have already defined the characteristic of classes. Like a number will be prime if it satisfies certain test, right? Otherwise it will not be prime. So classes, for if you want to identify whether this instance belongs to this class or not, you have to apply the test, right? So you know how can you classify the instance, and then you need to apply the test for just for classification. This is means classes are clear. There is no confusion that a number will be either non-prime or prime. But before that, before setting the correct class for this number, you have to apply the test. So in classification, the classes are, you have already created the classes, you have already defined the characteristics. Now you want the best model which can categorize this information in the correct class, that too in minimum time. So those problems are called as classification problem, because here you have clear cut information about the classes. So generally we use supervised learning algorithms in during classification. Another one is called as clustering. Clustering means, so here we know like how to classify prime and non-prime numbers. So prime numbers are those numbers which will satisfy this test, but non-primes are those which are not satisfying this test. Clustering means, in a clustering, you know the characteristic of objects which are there in the problem, but you don't know how to classify those objects. Still you have to do the classification, but here you don't have any predefined classes. You have to create classes on the basis of correct characteristics. So these are clustering related problems. So let me erase this one. This is it. So generally we use classification or this clustering problem. So for classification, we can apply neural network, decision tree, and the other classification algorithm, which are already there. In, if you are if you want to perform data mining, if you want to apply machine learning algorithm, these are the techniques which you can use. Neural network is one of them. I think neural network. Okay, I don't know whether you have learned about neural network or not, but this is really very important. What is neural net?
Uh,
If you want to learn something, I can tell you brief introduction about the neural network. We have already discussed that why the computer was created. So computer was created because we want one device which can assist us in computing some kind of computing. So neural network is what it was found that in some problem human perform better and computer is not good, right? for example, in face recognition problem, it was found that the performance of human being was very good as compared to computer. So when you, let us suppose if some other person is coming, okay, and if you have a computer and if you have a human being who can recognize this person easily, so a person can recognize another person very easily. So why it had happened? So people, actually those who were working with the computer, they thought because the computer was never created to replace human being, so that was the reason why computer could not recognize the person in less time. So some people tried that, I think, actually they thought that there is something which is there in between human being and computer which is different actually. So some people, they have identified that people have brain, and they process every information from the brain. So they look into the brain structure and they identified that the processing of human brain is completely different from the computer. So in human brain there are several set of neurons which are connected together, and whenever the human has to process information, they collectively process the information and they produce some result. So neural network is what? Neural network was the attempt to create a model which is similar to human brain. So that is called as artificial neural network. Artificial neural network was created to replace the need of human brain. So nowadays neural network is very successful architecture which is used for classification related problem. Another classification method is decision tree. You can also NEP based algorithm. NEP based is probabilistic modeling. So if you know probabilistic method, then you can apply NEP based method. For clustering, you can apply, there are certain clustering methods like k-mean clustering and hierarchical clustering. So there are other some, these methods are predefined methods. So you can learn and you can simply apply those methods. And association mean clustering can also be used. So actually when you design algorithms, so in some cases you may have some information about the correct classes. In other problems you may not have correct information about the classes. So actually depending on the information, availability of information, you can classify problems into three category, algorithms into three category. One is called as supervised learning algorithm, unsupervised algorithm, and reinforcement learning algorithm. Every time we have to create an algorithm. So because here in every kind of learning we are creating model, so that's why we call it learning method. Unsupervised, supervised, and other kind of learning method can be used for creating new data, like for creating new algorithms.
So just to ask you, sir, like the Q learning algorithms, these methods are in the reinforcement learning,
Yeah,
not in the
yeah.
supervised and non-supervised, unsupervised.
Q learning is in reinforcement learning.
Every time making a new algorithm.
No, no. What I'm saying, if you know the correct classes, okay. If you know, if some teacher is there to guide you, like what to do, okay. So, for example,
Hmm.
if I'm, who is the teacher actually? Who is the teacher? Teacher is like if you have test function. Let us suppose if you have some numbers like
Hmm.
2, 3, 4. So who will guide you that whether this number is prime or not?
So
That
already we have some
we
pre-test
have we
data.
have test function, right? We have some
Hmm.
test function. So when you apply the test function, it will give you output. No, this is prime, this is not prime. So you can assume that you have a teacher with you, right?
That is in the supervised, sir.
That is called as supervised learning. You have a teacher with you that can guide you about the correct class, right?
Okay.
So when you supply some instance over there, it will process the information and it will give you the correct class. Because you know the testing method. So when you apply the test, it will give you the correct answer. It will never give you the wrong answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is called as supervised. Means this kind of program is called as supervised learning. Means here you will
Yes,
be
sir.
using supervised learning.
Mm.
Now think
In
about other things, right? Unsupervised means you don't have any information about the you don't know the classes. For example, you have a bucket, right? You have a bucket where a lot of vegetables and fruits are there, right? So let us suppose apple are there, okay, tomatoes are there, right? And let us suppose peaches are there. So you need to identify, like, you need to cluster those objects into different categories. So here you don't have any predefined test cases, right?
Yes, sir.
So here you need to, on the basis of the characteristic of objects, right? So apple, they have certain kind of shape, right? So you will check the objects, okay? You will you have because you have to differentiate those objects, right? So you will take some parameters associated to those objects. Why you will choose some parameters related to those objects? So that you can cluster those objects into different categories. So that is called as clustering. In clustering, you don't have any test method which can guide you about the correct solution.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So let us suppose, if I am assuming that apple, the size of apple will be greater than the tomato. Okay. So that is a test criteria, but it may be possible that the size of tomato is equal to apple. So in that case, you may be wrong. So in that case, teacher is not present with you. You are creating actually rules, because you need to create different groups of similar items.
Then what happens in reinforcement, sir?
Reinforcement is something which is in between the supervised and unsupervised. In unsupervised, you don't have any idea, right? In supervised, you have teacher with you. In this reinforcement learning, actually, teacher is not present, right? But actually, okay, so you want to solve your problem, right? This is your problem, right? You are starting from this problem, this state, right? Now
Yes, sir.
you can take several decisions. This one you can take several actions. This action, this action, this action, right? This action. For example, if I have a cycle, right, and I want to learn how can I learn cycling, okay? So this is, initially we have a cycle, and now I am learning how to ride, how to run this cycle, right? I am learning cycling. So from this state, I can take many decisions. I If I want to move this cycle, I can move it, right? So I can you know that Kenchi type of cycle, some people actually, they, because I just
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so there might be different techniques which people can use to learn cycling, right? So if they are taking the correct action, then definitely they will be able to move the cycle. So that is a kind of reward, right? If you are taking the correct action, then your cycle will move from one place to another place, right? So you will get your reward if you are taking the correct action in reinforcement learning, right? You may you may be punished if you are not taking the correct action. So if your action is not correct, what will happen? You will fall down, right? So in reinforcement learning, you will get on the basis of action, you will get reward, or you may be punished. So it is a reward based learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here
So,
no teacher is present, right? So if your learning cycle, if you are able to ride it from one place to another place, definitely it is a kind of award, reward. So it means your actions are right, you go ahead, right? But
so that means, sir, we write algorithms in that way that many tasks are being going in parallel, and if any task has done right, then we
yeah,
reward.
yeah.
So
Actually,
ultimately, the mobile programs go to the different task, and then we write the
actually,
code in such
what
a
you
way.
have to do from the initial state, you have to cover all the states, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Okay.
capture all the state, and you have to associate some reward to each state, right? You know, like which state will be the best. Like you may be in this state, and in next time you may be in this state, this state. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
you better know, like whether you have to give more reward to this state or this state. So you need to decide.
Mm-hmm.
So here, actually, this technique is actually action dependent technique. If you are
Mm-hmm.
taking the correct action, you will be rewarded.
So that's why, sir, such a type of this learnings are being used in the gaming programs.
Gaming, yes. So if you are moving in the correct direction, like chess, playing chess,
Okay.
playing
Okay.
chess. If let us suppose, if you are in correct position, then you can actually, but
Hmm.
then you can win the game very easily. There might be
Hmm.
several ways to learn the same thing. There might be several ways to win the game, but whether you will win the game in minimum time or not, it will decide on the basis of your action. So that is reward based learning.
Got
Getting
it, sir. Yeah. Thank
so,
you, sir.
so that is actually reinforcement learning. So supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement is this one. So
Yes, sir.
so Q learning models, actually we in reinforcement learning, we actually use Markov's modeling. Markov's modeling is always used when you want to have some kind of information, when we want to retain some information about the memory. So Markov learning was also used.
For the past actions.
Yes. So sometimes you use past information about that. Okay. Is there any standard method for data science problems? So if you want to solve any data science problem, are the standard are are there some standard tools which we have to use, right? So this is very important question. So there is no set standard for writing data science programs. Data science, because you are having data values, right? How will you identify pattern? Is there any standard tool for that? Yeah, we have tools for that. Like if you want to identify the pattern, then you can use some tools, already existing tools. But it doesn't mean that you cannot create new tools, right? So there is no set standard method that may work well for all data science problems, right? So you have to think about the problem. You have to identify the best tool for the particular problem. And actually, the field is actually, it is expanding. So the output of data science method is dependent on the model used for solving the problem. Okay, let us suppose, this is really interesting. You can use the existing model or design a new one which suits your problem. So it is problem dependent. So any data science problem, or whatever data model you are using for prediction, for analyzing, for any kind of judgment, right? It is actually problem specific. So some tools may be performing better in some position, while other will be good in other problems. So you need to check actually which method you have to apply. Like the problem which belongs to classification, definitely clustering will not be useful. What you have to check before writing programs, so whatever program you are writing, so these are the three important things that you may check before writing the programs. I will show you one very important thing. Okay, look, and try to tell me. Oh, I'm giving you one example, right? About this. Is there any set method for data science problems? So I'm just giving you one problem and I'm asking you questions. So please tell me. So what I'm saying, let us suppose, okay, it's a very simple question. Let us suppose we want to learn multiplication. Okay. So we are multiplying two nine values and we are getting this 81, right? 9 into 9 is what? 81. 99 into 99. Let us suppose we want to predict the answer of this one, right? So how can we predict the answer of this 99 into 99? So we have some predefined methods. We have to use that multiplication, standard multiplication method, and then after we can get that the answer will be this 9801. Am I right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying actually, if you have some predefined method, you can definitely utilize that method and you can produce the answer. But definitely, what I want to say is, if somebody is asking, is it the only method which we can apply to generate this result 9801? So that will not be the true, right? This
Hmm.
may not be the single method. There might be some other methods which may produce the same answer in very less time, right? So there is no
Yes.
set standard for writing machine intelligent program. You have to import intelligence in your program. So it depends on your perception, how you are writing your program. So if your process is intelligent, if your behavior is different, you may produce the same result in less time. That I want to actually tell you.
Hmm.
So if you are writing program, so before writing program, you have to check what input we are supplied supplying actually, what output we want to produce. Okay. In general, if you want to write any program where data science related program, so you have to think about two things, like are what input you want to supply and what output you want to produce, and now check whether you have some existing tool which can do this. If yes, then you can apply this tool. If no, then can you create a alternative method with the help of existing one which can produce the answer in this case? So these are the methods which are actually being researched right now in machine learning areas. So we have already discussed like what is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So these are the learning methods. So whenever you are creating any models, you can create supervised learning models. Supervised learning models are those models where you know the correct classes. Unsupervised means you don't know about the correct classes. You need to choose some parameters and then you have to decide. And then reinforcement learning. So let us have some idea about the supervised learning methods. So in general, actually, but two more things actually which I want to share with you. Actually, data, it may be you may collect data from like from various sources. If you are assuming that if I'm talking about data which is only numerical, which consists of only numerical value, you are not correct, right? So data, what kind of data you are collecting is also very important. So if you are collecting numerical data, then you can apply numerical techniques. If you are collecting image related data, then you have to check like what kind of methods may be suitable for for performing image related analysis. So in image related analysis, computer vision related methods can be used. And not only image, number, there might be some analog data, digital data. The data may belongs to many categories, and accordingly you have to have sensors which may collect those kind of information, and you must have some devices which can process those kind of data values. So what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is used in solving classification problems. So in such problems, some input and output values are given. Based on given input output set, a mathematical model is selected, which can be used for predicting the correct output at a given input. Error between actual output and predicted output is used to train the model. Several learning or algorithm have been proposed for classification problems. So if you are using this neural network, then BPNN method can be used, back propagation neural network. Decision tree is one of them. So one example is like if, for example, if you want to create a model for uh, training, if you want to create a model for mathematical model for producing the output of OR gate. So if this is X1, this is X2. I think, madam, somebody want to ask something. I'm receiving.
Yes, Ramana Babu sir, if you have any query, please. I think.
I
Yes, sir, Ramana Babu sir, if you are having any query, please.
Let me see. I think.
I think, sir, by mistakenly some mic has been on. I think so. I'll mute because if I mute from here, sir, then no. I mean, in that way they can on their mics also. So I just
No, no,
make
no
them on.
problem. I was thinking that he has some question. No problem.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So this is, yeah. So we are talking about, so the one example, maybe if you want to learn, if you want to create model which can learn how to perform like a OR gate. So OR gate is what? So OR gate is, let us suppose here you will have some data values like X1 and X2, and ma'am, please excuse me, I have a call, so I will join you. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please check call.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, hello. Sorry. Uh, so this is about supervised learning. So we can use BPNN model. BPNN algorithm is backpropagation neural network algorithm. So this is something which is related to neural network or decision tree. Decision tree is also a very useful tool which we use in this like which we use as a data mining technique. NEP based technique is probabilistic method. Unsupervised learning. So if you have information, like if you want to apply the clustering method, then you have to use unsupervised learning. So in unsupervised learning, you have to choose some object related parameter and then you have to train it. Reinforcement. So according to action you have to take, you have to apply those things like reward, or if you are taking correct action, then you have to use you will get reward. If you are not taking the correct action, then you will be punished, means negative reward. So are these methods sufficient for solving problems? So in addition to this, sometimes you will find that in data mining you will find there are several problems where association kind of things may happen. So in that case you can apply the association mining algorithms. So all these methods use mathematical modeling techniques. So in general, actually, in addition to these methods, we can also use other standard mathematical methods like SBM, support vector machine, and deep learning. Deep learning is what? Deep learning is something which is related to neural network, and deep learning is all used in conjunction with image processing. So image processing is the backbone of deep learning. So if you want to apply something, if you want to extract some information related to images, then you can apply the deep learning techniques. So these mathematical models are actually they are providing some kind of functional mapping, and functional function may be decided according to the classes, the correct classes. How to solve other complex problems? In general, whatever problem you want to solve, you can use, you can see these techniques may be applicable. Now what people are doing actually, if in addition to these problems there might be certain other problems where the solution, where there no solution exists. So in that case, what people are doing nowadays, they are using biological models. What they are doing actually, they are taking inspiration from the natural methods and they are trying to mimic the solution which is provided by the nature in the form of program. So this thing is now uh, biological based methods are now becoming very popular in solving many problems, like whether it is related to classification problem, clustering related problems, or other related problems. The people are creating biological methods, using biological models for solving a real life problem. So not only optimization algorithms, but also other areas. There are other problems, like if you are interested in cyber security, or if you are interested in other things, then you can try to use some biological models for solving the problem. So biological models involves DNA computing, molecular computing. So DNA computing means, actually, in DNA computing, you have to create DNA kind of structure, and then you have to define rules and regulations related to DNA structure, and that you have to create for solving your problem. So DNA computing is also become very popular. So one example is DNA cryptography. So DNA cryptography is what? Actually, DNA is very useful in storing information. So that's why DNA cryptography model are very useful for solving problem. In addition to biological techniques, some advanced methods are also appearing in the classical literature. Some techniques are inspired from the physics. So those techniques are, one technique is called as quantum computing technique. So quantum computing is a term which is related to quantum computer. It is related to quantum theory. And quantum computing, actually, people they are creating quantum computer because the information processing power of the quantum computer will be very high as compared to the normal computer. People are creating quantum computer where they will be using the concept of qubits. So qubits are very useful. With the help of one qubit, you can represent 2 to the power n number of binary bits. So this is how we can improve the speed of the computation if we could able to create the quantum computers. I don't know whether we will be able to create quantum computer or not, but actually, you with the help of n number of quantum bits, you can represent 2 to the power n number of binary bits simultaneously. So this will be the actually advantage of using quantum computers. Quantum computer is in connection with DNA computing, is taking part in solving problems. You will find many papers in literature which are related to optimization. Like people have associated quantum computing with GA, so they have used quantum GA for solving optimization problem. So although we don't have any hardware structure supporting for the quantum computing, but still the concept is there in our hand, and we are still getting good results with the help of quantum computer and quantum computing and other biological computing methods. So these are the actually, when you want to apply the biological technique, or when you apply this quantum computing technique.
Yeah, sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. One question in between.
Uh-huh.
Actually, we are at a very start of, starting the research for one of the scholar.
Mm-hmm.
So can you, sir, throw some light on like how this quantum computing and some, that blockchain security mechanism can be applied, sir, in a neuroscience research problem if we take. Any idea, sir, if we can go for security through blockchain and quantum computing in neuroscience research problem?
I can give you the idea about the quantum bits and how those bits are connected to binary bits, how that connection can be done. But I don't know like how that information is applicable to DNA cryptography. So that DNA means quantum cryptography. So that he or she has to search. I
Mm-hmm,
can tell you
mm-hmm.
about the quantum computing, the concept of quantum computer, and about the quantum computing technique. So I just want to tell you about the quantum computing technique. Like, what is quantum computing technique, right?
Yes, sir.
So that idea is inspired from the quantum theory, which is related to physics, right? So in physics, you have you ever heard about the atomic structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in its atomic structure, there were two models. One in which it was assumed that inside the atom there is nucleus, right? And around this nucleus, actually, electron rotates in particular orbits, right? So that was fixed model, right? So in this model, it was assumed that there is a nucleus inside atom, and outside there are electrons which are moving in fixed orbits, right? Like this one. So this was the first model. Another model was given by another model is called as quantum model, right? So in that model, it was assumed the theory remains same, but what happened actually, it gives the idea that if this nucleus will remain same, right? But actually electrons move in the form of a cloud, so you can't spot a electron, right? So that is called as quantum theory. Quantum, there is a difference between quantum theory and normal theory. In quantum theory, you can assume that electrons move like a cloud in the sky, right? So it is
Mm-hmm.
like a cloud. You can't spot like where will be the position of your electron. You can't spot that correct position. It may be here, okay. It may be here at time t. It may be here at time t plus one. It may be here. So when you check the position of that electron at different times, you will find many different positions. So that was the idea behind quantum computing. Quantum computing means quantum computing is related to electron. So it means electron may be any state, right?
Yes, sir.
Any state. The value of a state will depend on a particular time t. So when you map, like when you want to identify the exact state of the electron, you have to fix it. You have to fix the time. So that is related to quantum computing. So how we apply quantum computing technique? So what we do actually in quantum computing, we use quantum bits. Okay. And quantum bits are represented by two values, alpha and beta. Okay. Each quantum bit is represented by alpha and beta. So alpha and beta, you know, uh, because in computer we use two information, 0 and 1, right? In computer we store information in the form of either 0 or in the form of 1, right? So this alpha beta actually, this states the probability of being in state 0 or the probability of being in state 1. So the quantum bit is represented by the combination of alpha and beta, where alpha represents the probability of being in 0 state and beta represent the probability of being in 1 state. So if we change the value of alpha beta, there we will find the change in the position of this in bit. For example, let us look about this. So what is the idea behind this? Alpha is the probability of being in state 0, beta is the probability of being in state 1. So alpha square plus beta square will be 1. Actually, alpha square is the probability of being in state 0, beta square is the probability of being in state in 1. So a electron may be in state 0 or in maybe state 1. So the total value of alpha square plus beta square will be always 1, right? So the qubits will be represented by the probabilistic distribution. So if I'm writing 1 by root 2, comma 1 by root 2. So this is my qubit. 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 means what will be the alpha square? It will be 1 by 2. Beta square will be 1 by 2. Means if I'm writing this 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 means chances of the bit to be 0 and 1 both are equal. Okay. This is the idea behind this one. So if I'm writing 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, it means if we want to spot the current state of our solution, it may be 0, it may be 1. The chances of both things, the chances of the chances of both of these things, the chances of both of these things are same. look at this one. Let's suppose if this is, let us suppose, if oh, come on, if the qubit is 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, and we want to identify what will be the correct value of this string, whether it is 0 or it is 1. So how we decide? Actually, we decide it on the basis of some random value. So we generate one random value, and if this value is less than 0.5, then we make it 0. If this value is greater than 0.5, then we make it 1. So the actual state of this qubit will be decided with the help of a random number. So this random number will be compared with the first value alpha. If it is less than 0.5, if this value is, let us suppose if this is 1 by 2, and 1 by 2 is 1 by 4, and root 3 by 2, this might be the qubit also. So here alpha is 1 by 2, so alpha square will be 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is nothing but 0.25, so we will generate a number. If random value is 0.12, let us suppose, so 0.12 is less than 0.25, so the bit will be 0. If random value is 0.7, so 0.7 is greater than 0.25, so it will be 1. So depending on the value of random number, we can convert this qubit into 0 or 1. So you can see the chances of 0, chances of being state in 0 is reducing, because here there is only 25% chance of being state in 0. The rest 75% belongs to 1. So when you spot this bit, then most of the time it becomes 1. So this is the idea behind quantum computing. I don't know,
Sir,
like
1 minute, sir. Please, can you please tell? I missed actually. From where we got 1/4, sir?
okay, okay, I will.
Just this particular step I missed.
Okay, actually, the quantum bit is always represented with the help of two things, right? So what are those things? This is represented by combination of alpha and beta, right? So alpha beta is what? Alpha square is the probability, okay, of this bit being 0, right? Beta square is the probability of being in state 1, right? So alpha comma beta represent the qubit, where alpha square represent the probability of converting this information into state 0. So for example, if I am writing 1 by root 2, this is the normal qubit, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, right? So 1 by 2, 1 by root 2, if alpha beta is this one, so what will be alpha square? It will be 1 by 2, right? So 1 by
Yes.
2 is what? It is 0.5, right?
Yes.
So alpha square is also 0.5, beta square is also 0.5. So it means if you spot this bit, it may be 0, it may be 1. Both probability are same, right?
Hmm.
If you want to figure out, so how we find out whether it is 0 or 1? So we generate a random number. So if number, let's suppose if we generate a random number between 0 to 1, right? If it is less than 0.5, we say that this is in state 0. If it is greater than 0.5, then we assume that the number is in state 1, right?
Hmm. But in this case, sir, 0.5 is in the both cases, alpha and beta.
No. What I'm saying, alpha square is giving you 0.5, right? So we are assuming if your value is in between 0 to 0.5, then it
Hmm.
is then it, if you are generating any value between 0 to 0.5, then it becomes 0. If you are generating value which are in between 0.5 to 1, then it will be 1. We are separating actually the probability, right?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Now what will happen if I want to increase the chances of 0 and decrease the chances of 1? So how can I do that? I can use this qubit root 3 by 2, right?
Hmm.
And 1 by 2. So what will
Hmm.
happen in that, in this case, alpha square will be 3 by 4. So
Yes, sir.
it means from 0 to 0.75,
Hmm. Hmm.
this value, you will assume that when this value is generated, it will it will be 1. It will be 0.
Zero.
Otherwise,
Hmm.
otherwise it will 1. So actually, this is a kind of probabilistic modeling
Hmm.
which are in
Hmm.
use. So with the help of one qubit, you can represent two binary bits. Why? Because at a particular time, when you generate a one random value, if it lies in proper interval, it may produce 0, else it may produce 1, right? So with the help
Hmm.
of one bit, you can represent two cube one. If with the help of one qubit, you can represent two bits. So if you use two qubit, you can represent four combinations, four possible combinations. If you use n number of qubits, how many bits you can represent simultaneously? It is 2 to the power n. So that is the beauty of probabilistic modeling, and that is q modeling. So
Yes.
so
Yes.
nowadays people are creating new model, and they are attaching new information. Hopefully you can find other information, other new models and important findings very soon in data science area. So I
Hmm.
so this is done from my side.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Any question if you have? I tried my best. I don't know how successful I was anyway. So if any person want to ask any question, I will be happy to answer in capacity of my knowledge.
No, sir. It was. I just give time to the participants. If they have any query, then I'll say.
Yeah, no, so I have started the video now. If you have any question, I
Yeah.
can. If you don't have any question, then it is good.
So finally, we have come to an end of this session. Uh, I really thank you, sir, for giving us so much knowledge, covering from the very basic aspects and so many queries. As a coordinator, I asked. I think that I done the part of the participants also.
No, no, thank
So
you. You encourages me properly. That's why I could. I was thinking like it is very boring if you are simply speaking and speaking and nobody is responding. That
yeah, that's why I always try to, sir, whatever going inside under me, the queries with the new terms, I simply ask. I hope you have not mind, sir.
no, 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 no problem. I don't. I don't have any mind. No,
No, it's,
I will not
and
mind.
one thing I should really like to notify our participants that sir is too nice and so kind of the sir that if I'm not wrong, sir, like I was when doing my started my PhD from NIT Hamidpur in 2009. I
Hmm.
believe that I met you because you might have forgotten me, and I met you in one of the IEEE conference, which is done by this NIT Allahabad, and I was able to have a conversation with you, and I was heavily inspired by your works in LinkedIn and so many things. You gave me an idea how to, find out the problems when I was
Yeah,
just
maybe. Actually, I was. We and I and Professor Mishra, we have started one conference in NIT Allahabad in 2009, I think.
yes, sir,
2000.
yes, sir. So I was part of that conference, and it was
That
my
is good.
first conference,
And
fortunately.
in 2016, actually, I was in US. I
Okay.
for an assignment, foreign teaching assignment for 2 years.
Okay.
Now struggling from like this coronic period.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I know you, sir, very much, because at that time also you gave me so much inputs, and I couldn't forget you, because a PhD student cannot forget for the people who have supported him or her during the starting of his PhD. So I really think so nice and kind on your this thing that you on a very first instant you accepted my invitation, and ultimately it was been a so fruitful to all the participants who have joined us in this data science session, this particular FDP on the data science, and you really justified the things actually, because they are so crucial. Whoever has been going to start their research works or already been struck somewhere, and so MTech students are also been connected with us. So it was so wonderful that you gave so deeper views, and the very basic knowledge about the terms which we actually couldn't get even while studying from the literature from the net.
Thank,
So
thank you,
yeah.
madam. Thank you. Thanks a lot. It's because yeah, it's so nice of you that you're saying these words to me. I was just trying as a faculty member actually who is interested in research. So we want to share everything, whatever we have, because we like our PhD students so that they can work accordingly. Like
Yes,
if
sir.
you
Yes,
if
sir.
you deliver good, then definitely people will appreciate you. If you're not delivering good, then
Yes, sir. So I think that
we
after this session, you have been like more been bothered. I've been in trouble,
no, no,
because
no.
I think that many people will be like either mailing you or telephonically calling you.
No, I have
So
already actually taken several lectures over here in FDP. Actually, in NIT Allahabad, they have organized several FDPs over artificial intelligence, and
yes, sir.
I've taken several lectures.